A stern message from a senior cabinet minister. New tonight, former area MP Dr. Michael Darville telling the Grand Bahama Power Company to back off after filing a proposal for a rate increase. Also, a double shooting on Grand Bahama under investigation as a man now in custody. Plus, the story of Grand Bahama. Our News weekly series, City in Focus, premieres tonight with a deep dive from one shareholder about the origins of the Hawksbill Creek Agreement. Then in Our News at 7:30, more Shantytown evictions on the way as 28-day notices served on residents in a Cowpen Road community. Our News live at 7 starts right now. Welcome to Our News live at 7. Thanks for joining us tonight. I'm Candino Knowles. As a potential power rate hike looms for Grand Bahamians, government swiftly stepping in to defend residents, urging Grand Bahama Power Company to reconsider. A senior cabinet minister and former area MP urging the power company to hold off on any increase, as he says residents cannot bear any additional costs. Brittany McDermott has more on the latest standoff.
We are asking the power company to back off to ensure that the residents of Grand Bahama at least catch themselves before we can talk about another increase.
The Davis administration is asking the Grand Bahama Power Company to reconsider a 6.3% rate increase amid constant power outages and an economy still struggling to rebound. Health and Wellness Minister Dr. Michael Darville, who is also a former area MP, says this latest ask by the power company follows a 3.4% rate increase granted in 2022.
We understand that the cost of electricity is a major issue, not only in Grand Bahama, but in the capital and the rest of the Family Islands. But the way how this is being done, I believe there has to be more consultation as it relates to this increase.
In a statement Tuesday, Minister for Grand Bahama Ginger Moxie chastised the power company's decision, calling it wholly ill-conceived, adding the power company is prioritizing profit over people. GBPC recently filed a proposal with Grand Bahama Port Authority requesting an increase in its base rates, which it said is just part of an effective fuel purchase strategy that will ultimately result in a lower cost for the majority of customers. Now, given all Grand Bahama has already endured, Dr. Darville maintains that Grand Bahamians cannot handle an increase in the cost of electricity right now.
We believe that a power increase at this time is not a good thing for the residents of Grand Bahama. I believe we should come to the table and discuss it to try to find a way how we could address it over a period of time.
Reporting for Our News, I'm Brittany McDermott.
All right, thanks for that, Brittany. And coming up in Our News at 7:30, residents on Grand Bahama, they are weighing in on GBPC's base proposal adjustment. Stay tuned for that. And we're still on Grand Bahama, where an unusual spike in crime as a double shooting, leaving the island with its second homicide in a matter of weeks. Marlena Leonard has the latest from police on that shooting and how they are assuring the public Grand Bahama still safe.
One man is dead and another is fighting for his life in hospital after a double shooting in Grand Bahama. Officer in charge of Grand Bahama and Northern Bahamas, Assistant Commissioner Shanty Knowles, at a news conference this afternoon to share what police know of the crime so far.
Just as this club was about to close, a man entered the club armed with a firearm and discharged the weapon, hitting both men. Our officers continued their investigations into this matter, and as a result of the information they received, they took one adult male into custody in connection with this incident and later recovered a firearm that we believe was used in the commission of this incident.
Knowles telling press the man in custody is no stranger to them.
He is on bail for firearm-related matters and was being electronically monitored before he cut off his device shortly after this incident.
This incident marks the second murder in just a matter of weeks in Grand Bahama, their fourth homicide for the year. Still, she assures the public the island is safe.
We are not asleep. We are certainly working our streets, and any information that we can get to solve this and any other matter, we certainly ask that you reach out to us. Again, our nightlife here on Grand Bahama, if you look, you will see that my officers are constantly patrolling. They are constantly making checks of nightclubs, even when persons think that we are overbearing. We will continue to make checks, not because we want to create a disturbance for them, but because we want to make sure that patrons are secured or feel a sense of comfort as they enjoy the nightlife here on Grand Bahama.
Reporting for Our News, I'm Marlena Leonard.
And tonight we kick off City in Focus, our new weekly segment from Our News anchor Italia Hall, sponsored by Grand Bahama Port Authority. Coming up at 7:30, we'll delve into the history of Freeport and GBPA, exploring the city's highs and lows to better understand its role and impact as government and the port debate responsibility for Freeport's decline. Italia introduces Rupert Haywood, a seasoned economist and GBPA shareholder. He'll discuss the family business and the challenges faced over the decades. We've got this preview.
I think 100-year agreements have chapters, and we've been through multiple chapters. You know, we've seen where we were really successful. We've seen where from a societal standpoint, it wasn't as successful as it could be. We've seen where it's very successful from an economic standpoint. I think, you know, to understand the future, you need to understand the past. And I think all the lessons for the next 30 years and beyond sit by understanding where the triple bottom line proposition of the Port Authority and the Hawksbill Creek Agreement of Freeport sits. So where have we been successful economically, why? Where have we been successful from a societal standpoint, and why? And how do we build this sort of climate sustainability piece as well? And I know what needs to happen, I really do.
All right, be sure and stay tuned for City in Focus coming up tonight in Our News at 7:30. And we can confirm that former Prime Minister Perry Christie was released from hospital around noon today after undergoing a procedure and spending the holiday weekend in medical care. Rumors spread on Saturday that Christie had suffered a heart attack, but his wife Bernadette quickly dispelled those rumors. The Office of the Prime Minister later confirmed Christie was admitted with symptoms of an acute heart condition and underwent corrective surgery performed by interventional cardiologist Dr. Bimal Francis and his team. Sources indicate the former leader will need at least 2 weeks to recover before resuming normal activities. All of us here at Our News and RTV wishing the former Prime Minister a speedy recovery. Environment Minister Vaughn Miller has issued a stern warning to polluters, saying they will face the consequences. This comes in response to 2 recent oil spills in Abaco. One incident captured in a viral social media video showed a focal fuel truck overturned in the street. The second involved a leak from a local gas station. Miller vows his ministry will enforce strict penalties on the company found responsible for these environmental breaches.
I can assure you, as minister, I will continue to do everything in my powers to see that they are penalized to the maximum extent of the law. It's serious, very serious, in particular of Family Islands, and particularly in that area, because it is so close to the coast. It's almost right on the coast. And so the polluter must pay. That's the law. The polluter must pay.
The 4-day Airport Conference of the Americas, drawing aviation executives from around 100 airports and sectors across the United Kingdom, Latin America, the Caribbean, and the United States. Conference, a first for the Bahamas, is being held at Bahama Resort. On the sidelines Tuesday, Aviation Director Kenneth Romer highlighted that the meeting will center on crucial discussions about safety, security, and more. Meanwhile, officials at that aviation conference touring the Lyndon Pindling International Airport earlier today. The tour, culminating this year's conference, gave the various aviation professionals a glimpse into operations at the main gateway. Here's Aviation Director Dr. Kenneth Romer.
Well, the whole sense of place. The LPIA has this strong sense of being an authentic and indigenous environment. They liked how they stepped into the airport and it felt as though they were still in the Bahamas. So from the carpeting to the decor, but above all, they were very impressed with the level of customer service and also with the movement of passengers again through the LPIA, the processing time. So there were some things that they learned from us. We're certainly learning some things from them.
And just why are conferences like this important for the country?
And this is what makes the aviation industry a really strong industry. There's partnership, there is discussions, there is sharing of knowledge, and at the end of the day, we understand the importance of this, not just the regional aviation, but also the global aviation.
To get to tonight, but for now, it's time for your first look at temperatures. Meteorologist Greg Thompson is standing by in the Weather Center. And Greg, I know that we are approaching the peak of hurricane season. Debbie is out there, and I know you're watching another area that we're expected to see develop over the next few days.
Yeah, that's right. Yeah, some of the computer models are hinting at a tropical wave or tropical disturbance that could be approaching us by next week. Of course, this is prime time to remind everybody, get your hurricane plans in order. We are approaching the peak of the season. That's the latter part of August into September, and that's when we see most of the activity coming off the African coast, moving into the Caribbean. So stay tuned, we'll tell you a little more about that later on. 86 degrees, we had a very downpour, large one around the capital today. Partly cloudy skies still outside. South-south winds at 9 miles per hour. Feels like temperature very humid and warm, 97 degrees. Temperatures around the islands right now, it's 86 in Freeport, Marsh Harbor, Abaco here in the capital, and in Nichols, San Andros. 87 in Allenstown, Bimini. Governor's Harbor, you guys are 83. Central Bahamas, 86 in Kemps Bay. We pick up 84s. Georgetown, Exumas. Arthurstown, Cat Island. 83 in Copenhagen, San Salvador. Deadman's Key, 85. And into the southeast Bahamas. Mid-80s there as well. 85 in Duncantown, Ragged Island. 84s, Colonel Hill, Cricket Island. 84 in Delectable Bay. Matthewtown, Inagua, 85. Abrahams Bay, 83. And neighbors to the southeast, Turks and Caicos Islands. Your temperature right now is at 86. Satellite radar composite. We were watching Debbie just persistent, staying up there, not moving very much, moving slightly towards the northeast at around 7 miles per hour. And that system will continue to impact the Bahamas with some rain bands across the area. So we're looking at some more showers and thunderstorms in the forecast over the next couple of days as this system is going to take its while to move out. But by the end of the week, we expect conditions to be clearing up across most of the island chain. That's your first look at weather. Stick with us. So look at your extended forecast is still to come.
Thanks, Greg. And still to come on Our News, find out the latest from the 2024 Paris Olympics in Our Sports at 7. Plus, Team Bahamas gets ready for the Goodwill Games in St. Lucia. Our Sasha Lightborn poolside when Our News returns.
Grand Bahama is home to a unique economic arrangement, with that arrangement between government and the Grand Bahama Port Authority under scrutiny as tensions persist.
It's not our direct responsibility to carry out these other things that people think we should be doing.
We need this to be dealt with quicker than quicker and sooner than sooner.
I have a vision for Grand Bahama, and my vision's actually bigger than my grandfather's ever was.
Watch City in Focus, the story of Freeport with Italia Hall, starting August 7th only on RTV.
The Paradise Hotel.
When can I sell?
Is this what the hotel is really worth?
The kids find themselves on more exciting island adventures.
So stay tuned for some really hot new episodes.
This is 242 the Gospel.
This video needs to show us on a different scale. It has to be
Extra.
What, eh?
Hey, Quay.
Hey, what you saying?
Where you is?
I right here on the bus stop with my friend.
Okay, so we want to shoot this video, and it's gonna be extra.
All right, Jim. I can just come to you. All right. I need you 25 cents no more.
Are you ready for the stormy season?
This update from the Paris Olympics is powered by Bahamas Striping Group of Companies.
Welcome to Our Sports at 7, presented by 10th year seniors. I'm Ronaldo Dorset. That's John Mark Nutt. Let's do show. 5 Bahamians were in action in the track and on the field in today's opening session as competition continued for Team Bahamas at the Paris Olympics. In the 100-meter hurdles, Devin Charlton and Charisma Taylor are through to the semifinals, while Denisha Cartwright will race in tomorrow's repechage round. Remo Tabor competed in the javelin, and Donald Thomas made his 5th Olympic appearance in the high jump. Neither made it out of the qualifying round.
The highlight for Session 2 for Team Bahamas, Antoine Andrews in the 110-meter hurdle semis and Wanye McCoy in the 200-meter semis. Andrews finished 8th. in the first of 3 semifinals in 13.43 seconds, matching his exact time from the prelims. His time was 18th overall among 24 semifinalists. In the first semifinal of the 200 meters, running out of lane 9, McCoy finished 5th in his heat with a time of 20.61 seconds. McCoy also finished 18th overall in the event among the 24 semifinalists.
Dante Stewart got his pro baseball career off to a great start in independent baseball. Stewart hit his first pro home run for the Oakland Ballers of the Pioneer Baseball League.
Team Bahamas has a 1-1 record so far at the Billie Jean King Cup tournament. The team lost to Trinidad and Tobago 2-1 and will look to get back into the win column against Barbados tomorrow.
That'll do it for Our Sports at 7. This is 10YS. Stay tuned to Our News at 7:30 for details on these stories and more. Back to the studio.
All right, thanks, guys. Well, in a few weeks, Team Bahamas will head to St. Lucia for the Goodwill Games. All practices have been in full swing in New Providence. A portion of the team also training in Grand Bahama. Our Sasha Lightborn caught up with them over the weekend.
I think we are very prepared because during practice, I could see everyone improving.
I think that we're pretty prepared. We've been working hard in practice, and I think that my teammates are going to do really well.
Those were two members of Team Bahamas' 2024 Goodwill team. The team heads to competition in St. Lucia on August 14th. Now, most of the team practices in New Providence, but a portion of the team resides in Grand Bahama. They have been practicing around the clock as well. Leading practices on the island is Coach Ashton Knowles.
Practices have been going really well. I mean, we have not many swimmers on the Goodwill team, so we have a lot of space to train in, so they're swimming really good. So it's going well.
And the swimmers shared what they have been working on during practices at the YMCA.
We've been working on our technique, underwaters and dives.
We've been working on underwaters, our dives. We've been working on building our endurance too. The practices haven't been too hard or not too easy.
Raphael also believes the team will two-peat. Reporting for Our News, I'm Sasha Lightborn.
When Our News comes back from the break, we turn our spotlight to stories making headlines across the world as 9/11 hearings at Guantanamo Bay in an upheaval after a surprise order. Plus, we'll tell you the wrongful death lawsuit filed more than a year after the Titan submersible implosion. And a familiar name back in the news tonight as Guyana seeking to recoup millions owed by Clico. The story when Our News returns.
Grand Bahama is home to a unique economic arrangement, with that arrangement between government and the Grand Bahama Port Authority under scrutiny as tensions persist.
It's not our direct responsibility to carry out these other things that people think we should be doing.
We need this to be dealt with quicker than quicker and sooner than sooner.
I have a vision for Grand Bahama, and my vision's actually bigger than my grandfather's ever was.
Watch City in Focus, the story of Freeport with Italia Hall, starting August 7th, only on RTV.
The Paradise Hotel.
When can I sell? Is this what the hotel is really worth?
The kids find themselves on more exciting island adventures.
So stay tuned for some really hot new episodes.
This is 242 the Gospel.
This video needs to show us on a different scale. It has to be
Extra. What, eh?
Hey, Quay.
Hey, what you saying?
Where you is?
I heard you on the bus stop with my friend.
Okay, so we want to shoot this video, and it's gonna be extra.
All right, Jim. I can just come to you. All right. I need your 25 cents no more.
Are you ready for the stormy season? Don't wait until the storm clouds gather. Contact the experts at Alive Business today and let us help you prepare for this hurricane season. For a limited time only, you can get 50% off our Bahamas Cloud, the ultimate solution to secure your data and communications.
This is Our News. Welcome back. We turn our attention now to stories making headlines across the world. Military-run hearings for Khalid Mohammed and two co-defendants at Guantanamo Bay faced upheaval Wednesday after Defense Secretary Lloyd Austin threw out a plea deal that would have spared them the death penalty. Defense attorneys argue the deal remains valid and have suspended participation in pre-trial hearings pending legal challenges. The plea deal and Austin's decision have sparked strong reactions, including criticisms from Republicans and September 11th victims' families. The estate of Titanic researcher Paul Henry Nargeolet has filed a wrongful death lawsuit seeking over $50 million, alleging gross negligence in the design and operation of the Titan submersible that imploded last year. Filed in Washington state, the suit is the first related to the Titan disaster. The lawsuit accuses OceanGate CEO Stockton Rush, who also died in the incident, of prioritizing innovation and personal legacy over safety. It claims the crew experienced terror and knew they were doomed as the submersible's carbon fiber hull cracked under pressure. Nargeolet, known as Mr. Titanic, had extensive experience with Titanic dives. The U.S. Coast Guard is conducting a formal hearing in September to investigate the implosion. And Guyana has filed a lawsuit against the Trinidad-based Clico Investment Bank Limited, seeking to recover over $34 million amid the bank's compulsory liquidation. Attorney General Anil Nandlal and Clico Life and General Insurance Company Limited allege that CIB, which is a subsidiary of CL Financial Limited, transferred the funds to Clico Bahamas Limited, worsening financial losses. The lawsuit claims fraud and mismanagement in the collapse of the Clico Group, which led to significant impacts in Guyana. Well, the court is being asked to enforce a 2019 decision against CL Financial and recover the funds held by the Registrar of Deeds. Still to come in our news, today in history, find out interesting facts about the day that was August 7th. Then in our news at 7:30, the director of aviation helps us understand seasonal routes. He says the industry is based on supply and demand amid concerns over recent route cancellations. Plus, The City in Focus premieres tonight. Our Italia Hall begins with a deep dive into the origins of the Hawksbill Creek Agreement when Our News returns.
Grand Bahama is home to a unique economic arrangement, with that arrangement between government and the Grand Bahama Port Authority under scrutiny as tensions persist.
It's not our direct responsibility to carry out these other things that people think we should be doing.
We need this to be dealt with quicker than quicker and sooner than sooner.
I have a vision for Grand Bahama, and my vision's actually bigger than my grandfather's ever was.
Watch City in Focus, the story of Freeport with Italia Hall, starting August 7th, only on RTV.
The Paradise Hotel.
When can I sell? Is this what the hotel is really worth?
The kids find themselves on more exciting island adventures.
So stay tuned for some really hot new episodes.
This is 242 the Gospel.
This video needs to show us on a different scale. It has to be
Extra. What, eh?
Hey, Quay.
Hey, what you saying?
Where you is?
I heard you on the bus stop with my friend.
Okay, so we want to shoot this video, and it's gonna be extra.
All right, Jim. I can just come to you. All right. I need your 25 cents no more.
Are you ready for the stormy season? Don't wait until the storm clouds.
Yeah, so on this day in Bahamian history in 2013, in a dramatic turn of events, Dr. Hubert Minnis, then leader of the official opposition, was forcibly removed from the House of Assembly by police officers. The removal came after Dr. Minnis refused to retract his comments regarding Prime Minister Perry Christie's association with Peter Nygaard. Speaker Dr. Kendall Major intervened, barring Minnis from the proceedings, which sparked a significant political controversy. and in 2020. In a sobering update on the COVID-19 pandemic, then Health Minister Renwood Wells reported 69 new cases, raising the national total to 830. The report also revealed that 30 healthcare workers, including 15 from Grand Bahama, had contracted the virus, highlighting the severe impact on frontline medical staff. To watch that historical recap again and for all of today's top stories, remember you can visit ournews.bs. That's going to do it for us in News at 7. Joining us now is Marlena Leonard in for Talia Hall with the latest headlines. Marlena?
Thanks, Ken. Well, let's take a look at your latest headlines. Tonight on Our News. First tonight on Our News Live at 7:30, the price of power. Freeport residents up in arms after the Grand Bahama Power Company proposes a base rate increase. And the aviation director explains why a few airlines chose to cancel their Nassau-bound routes. Plus, residents of a shanty town on Cowpen Road issued eviction notices. We have the details coming up. And later, the fun-filled culinary adventure of the Daddy and Me cooking experience. Our Danielle Miller takes us along for the memory-making activity when Our News Live at 7:30 returns.
Happiest, most peaceful, most congenial of all countries in the Western Hemisphere today was how the Prime Minister, Mr. Lyndon Pinding, described it in an Eve of Independence news conference. The preacher spoke of the Bahamians as a holy nation and a peculiar people, dependent now only on God.
At the gateway to the Americas, on the picturesque island of Grand Bahama, a pioneering initiative is taking shape. Lucaya Solar Power Limited presents the $15 million Lucaya Solar Power Project, the first of its kind in the Bahamas' energy landscape. The state-of-the-art solar farm on the Fairfield and Devon sites spans just over 30 acres, and once completed, will harness the power of the sun to generate over 9.5 megawatts of clean, sustainable energy. The Lucaya Solar Project is a pivotal step towards diversifying the country's energy sources and significantly reducing dependency on fossil fuels. It's more than just a project. It's a commitment to a greener, more sustainable future. Lucaya Solar Power Limited, powered by INTI, powering your world, powering your future.
Energy conservation is the decision and practice of using less energy. Energy efficiency means using less energy to perform the same task. Turning off lights when you leave a room. Unplugging appliances not in use. People conserve to gain more control over their energy bill and to reduce demand on the Earth's natural resources. Bahamas Power and Light Company Limited looks forward to helping our customers eliminate wasted energy. Take this journey with us as we build for better. BPL.
Welcome to Our News and thanks for joining us. I'm Marlena Leonard. The price of power is a concern many of us have on our minds, and now the Grand Bahama Power Company is hoping to raise rates, leaving many customers upset with the proposed hike. We spoke to a few of them today. Residents in Freeport reacting today to the Grand Bahama Power Company's announcement of a proposed rate hike, now under review by the Grand Bahama Port Authority. These Grand Bahama customers say it's already hard enough keeping up with the current rates.
I think it's terrible putting more money on our bill right now because me and my husband all in the main weekend, we scrapping to pay our light bill.
I'm a resident in Freeport and the light bill is extremely high for everybody, especially senior citizens who's unemployed. And it's ridiculous after the hurricane. Please bring it down as much as you can.
A statement from the Ministry for Grand Bahama says they do not support the base rate increase, calling the proposal wholly ill-conceived, badly timed, and claims it appears to prioritize profit over the well-being of the community. Former Minister of Housing and National Insurance Kenneth Russell also weighing in on the proposed increase.
At the rate of increase in prices for everything in this country now, the authorities should double-check and triple-check before they give an increase in power costs. I would like to believe that the regulators here in Grand Bahama will be checking with, or it could also, even though they're not regulated by them, checking with them to see what is happening in the rest of the country concerning power and the cost of power.
Tony Hudson Bannister says one of the main issues with the rate hike is the quality of service.
As a consumer, I believe that you should get what you're paying for. And presently, the service provided by the Grand Bahama Power Company has not been up to standard. And so at this time, I do not support an increase as a consumer. I would prefer to get better service first, and then let's talk about an increase.
The Grand Bahama Port Authority says finding solutions to the electricity burdens is a priority and that it remains affordable and accessible for all. Well, Grand Bahamians can look forward to Phase 1 of the new Grand Bahama Healthcare Facility being completed by June 2025. Health and Wellness Minister Dr. Michael Darville revealing this information today. Ground was broken on the over $200 million project in May 2023, fulfilling a key promise from the government following its 2021 election win. Dr. Darville says the plan includes creating new healthcare spaces on the island.
Because of shortage of space in Grand Bahama, rather than the complete hospital being in service, we came up with a plan that would allow us to utilize key spaces while still building the structure. And I believe that was the right thing for us. And we will show the residents how far we are. I'm very pleased with the progress. We have in excess of 100 construction workers on the site as we speak.
And while the construction on the new facility is progressing, Dr. Darville says the need for trained medical professionals remains a priority amid a massive nursing and doctor shortage. Dr. Darville also confirming once the new facility is complete, the existing Rand Memorial Hospital will be repurposed into a geriatric and psychiatric center.
By October of this year, we will go out for tender for second phase, which is the multi-story facility that will house the 150 beds. And so I'm very pleased with where we are with that facility.
Speaking of the nation's second city, one man is dead and another is fighting for his life after a double shooting just after 1 o'clock this morning at a Freeport nightclub. This incident marks the second murder in just a matter of weeks in Grand Bahama, the island's fourth homicide for the year. Officer in charge of Grand Bahama and the Northern Bahamas, Assistant Commissioner Shanty telling reporters they have a suspect in custody who's known to police.
He is on bail for firearm-related matters and was being electronically monitored before he cut off his device shortly after this incident.
Government is planning to continue its Shantytown demolition exercises. Our News learning that over 100 eviction notices were posted in a Cowpen Road Shantytown sometime last week. It's a continuation of the Shanty Task Force's efforts under the Ministry of Works and Family Island Affairs to rid the country of the unregulated communities. The first demolition dating back to last year, October, in the Cool Acres community, then to several off Carmichael Road, along with exercises in Abaco and Eleuthera. And while many of us were surprised by the announcements, the decision by a few airlines to cancel their Nassau-bound routes comes with a reasonable explanation. At least that's what the aviation director says when questioned about the recent cancellations. Our Joshua Williams picks up the story from here.
Government says it understands concerns over the recent route cancellations by some major airlines, and given the fanfare over the expanded routes earlier this year to destinations US, UK, Canada, and France, it naturally raises concern. The decision to cancel American Airlines service between Grand Bahama and Miami and Bahamas Air's Nassau into Montego Bay, Jamaica contributed to the concern. Aviation Director Dr. Kenneth Rumer contends there is a reasonable explanation, in particular with Bahamas Air.
Well, Bahamas Air, the route never started. At the same time, they were preparing to launch the Montego Bay. We had the hurricane. So there was a reduction in booking, there was some uncertainty, there was some risk associated. So they simply announced that they're going to be pushing the launch for that Montego Bay towards November. Western Air has announced in August that it's launching a new route from Freeport, Grand Bahama into Fort Lauderdale. We have a lot of airlines that are now bringing new service to the Bahamas during Q4 and into the first quarter of 2025.
Dr. Rumer believes the decision for airlines to collaborate is more of a solution, adding that what matters in the end is the passenger arrivals.
Dr. Rumer also wants you to understand the difference between year-round routes and seasonal routes.
The airline industry is really based on supply and demand. We know throughout the air industry, tourism, and also aviation, there are times when demand kind of fades away. That's around your August, September, October, it picks up.
Yet he's optimistic about the future.
The sense of optimism is very high when it comes to the future of travel for foreign air arrivals. We are already outpacing 2023 performance in terms of arrivals, so we're very pleased about the future outlook again for airlift travel.
Reporting for Our News, I'm Joshua Williams.
Well, we had a rainy day and a bit of flooding in the capital. Meteorologist Greg Thompson is in the Weather Center with your first look at weather. Greg?
Yeah, I know about a bit of flooding. We had some serious flooding in some locations, especially in my neighborhood. There on Blue Road and that roundabout just around the A.F. Adley School. Some real serious street flooding there. We will continue to see some rainfall as we still have some rain bands coming across the area from Debbie. And Debbie is basically sitting out there just generating those rain bands across the area, and we will continue to see that trend. But high pressure at the surface is really controlling the weather across the central and southeast Bahamas. But some of those rain bands now moving into the central Bahamas, showers and thunderstorms, Eleuthera, the Cat Island area, as well as San Salvador, into the Exumas as well. We have another batch moving into Andros. Now we are starting to see a second line that's approaching the Grand Bahama area, and that will continue to produce some showers and thunderstorms associated with Debbie. And of course, Debbie is still to the north, still basically stagnant, not moving very much. And that rainfall amount that it's producing across the southeastern United States, good thing it's well up there because they're having some catastrophic flooding up that way. But eventually, Debbie will continue to pull out towards the north and away from us. So by the weekend, we expect some improving weather conditions across most of the island chain. That's your quick check on conditions around the island. Stick with us to look at your extended forecast is still to come.
Still to come on Our News, our new weekly series, City in Focus. We delve into the history of the Grand Bahama Port Authority. Tonight, we start with a deep dive from one of the GBPA's shareholders. And later, the interactive event where fathers and their little ones come together to create delicious home-cooked meals. Danielle Miller takes us along for the Daddy and Me cooking experience.
Grand Bahama is home to a unique economic arrangement, with that arrangement between government and the Grand Bahama Port Authority under scrutiny as tensions persist.
It's not our direct responsibility to carry out these other things that people think we should be doing.
We need this to be dealt with quicker than quicker and sooner than sooner.
I have a vision for Grand Bahama, and my vision is actually bigger than my grandfather's ever was.
Watch City in Focus, the story of Freeport with Italia Hall, starting August 7th, only on RTV.
The Paradise Hotel.
When can I sell?
Is this what the hotel is really worth?
The kids find themselves on more exciting island adventures.
So stay tuned for some really hot new episodes.
This is 242 the Gospel.
This video needs to show us on a different scale. It has to be
extra. What, eh?
Hey, Quay.
Hey, what you saying?
Where you is?
I right here on the bus stop with my friend.
Okay, so we want to shoot this video, and it's gonna be extra.
All right, Jim. I can just come to you. All right. I need you 25 cents no more.
Are you ready for the stormy season? Don't wait until the storm clouds gather. Contact the experts at Alive Business today and let us help you prepare for this hurricane season. For a limited time only, you can get 50% off our Bahamas Cloud, the ultimate solution to secure your data and communications, ensuring they're accessible even in the worst of weather conditions. Don't let the storm catch you off guard this season. Stay ahead of the game with Bahamas Cloud from Alive Business.
happiest, most peaceful, most congenial of all countries in the Western Hemisphere today was how the...
Decades before majority rule or independence, the Grand Bahama Port Authority's unique economic arrangement gave rise to the once thriving magic city of Freeport, drawing thousands to the island. In a new weekly Our News series, City in Focus, sponsored by the GBPA, we delve into the history of the Port Authority and the Hawksbill Creek Agreement amidst the current dispute between the government and the GBPA. We invite you to stay tuned every week to catch the series. But tonight, we start with a deep dive from one shareholder as we share the origins of this pivotal arrangement.
Port Authority is a regulator. We have responsibility for the maintenance of the city.
As the Grand Bahama Port Authority and government spar over the causes of Freeport's decline, many who live outside the nation's second city are asking, what exactly is the GBPA and who are its shareholders? Well, it all began in 1946 when American businessman Wallace Groves envisioned the development of Freeport. Rupert Hayward, a shareholder of the GBPA and grandson of Sir Jack Hayward, shared his family's historical perspective on how they became involved in this transformative journey.
Great-grandfather, this is Sir Charles Hayward, not a Bahamian, but made the first investment into the Grand Bahama Port Authority in 1957, I think, 2 years.
Do you know what or why he decided to come to the Bahamas initially?
So my grandfather was living in Nassau, and he had a Bahamian family. Living on the end of the Eastern Road, and my great-grandfather used to come out and see him, and the port project was starting, and Wallace Groves, who was the founder, was running out of money, and he needed new investors.
Shortly after, the Hawksbill Creek Agreement was signed by Groves and government to establish the city of Freeport. Sir Jack Hayward, the son of former GBPA chairman Sir Charles Hayward, and businessman Edward St. George took over the Port Authority in 1976. They later made Sir Albert Miller, a son of the soil, president. The two investors later bought out Wallace Groves and ushered in what is known as a remarkable growth period over the next 25 years. In fact, the majority of the island's current infrastructure is attributed to the GBPA's efforts.
It shouldn't really be underestimated. I mean, my great-grandfather developed the Sir Charles Hayward Yacht Club just across the road. You've got the Sir Charles Hayward Library. You've got, as I said, the Jack Hayward Junior School, Jack Hayward Senior School. We developed the YMCA, or put a lot of money into that. My great-grandfather paid for the pools at the YMCA.
The city was meticulously planned, designed to accommodate up to 250,000 residents.
137 miles of paved roads in a year, 401 licensees.
Hayward shares how the work the port does begins with a look at the needs of the community.
Hopefully the model is profitable as well, because if we're profitable, then we're able to reinvest those profits.
Reporting for Our News, I'm Natalia Hall.
That was just a glimpse into the Grand Bahama Port Authority and the birth of Freeport. In our next installment, we'll examine the Hawksbill Creek Agreement and its contentious role with the new government post-majority rule. We'll also explore the regulatory powers that were revoked and take a closer look at perhaps the toughest decade for Freeport, the 2000s. Stay tuned to our weekly series City in Focus for an in-depth exploration of how and why Freeport came to be. When Our News comes back from the break, our Danielle Miller tells us how an event by Men Speak offers a unique opportunity for dads to bond with their kids in the kitchen.
Coming up in sports, lots of track and field action today in Paris. We'll fill you in on everything that happened with Team Bahamas.
Grand Bahama is home to a unique economic arrangement, with that arrangement between government and the Grand Bahama Port Authority under scrutiny as tensions persist.
It's not our direct responsibility to carry out these other things that people think we should be doing.
We need this to be dealt with quicker than quicker and sooner than sooner.
I have a vision for Grand Bahama, and my vision's actually bigger than my grandfather's ever was.
Watch City in Focus, the story of Freeport with Italia Hall, starting August 7th only on RTV.
The Paradise Hotel. When can I sell? Is this what the hotel is really worth?
The kids find themselves on more exciting island adventures.
So stay tuned for some really hot new episodes.
This is 242 the Gospel.
this video needs to show us on a different scale. It has to be
Extra. What, eh?
Hey, Quay.
Hey, what you saying?
Where you is?
I heard you on the bus stop with my friend.
Okay, so we want to shoot this video, and it's gonna be extra.
All right, Jim. I can just come to you. All right. I need you 25 cents no more.
Are you ready for the stormy season? Don't wait until the storm clouds gather. Contact the experts at Alive Business today and let us help you prepare for this hurricane season. For a limited time only, you can get 50% off our Bahamas Cloud, the ultimate solution to secure your data and communications, ensuring they're accessible even in the worst of weather conditions. Don't let the storm catch you off guard this season. Stay ahead of the game with Bahamas Cloud from Alive Business.
Happiest, most peaceful, most congenial of all countries in the Western...
This update from the Paris Olympics is powered by Bahamas Striping Group of Companies.
Welcome to Our Sports, presented by 10th year seniors. I'm Ronaldo Dorset. That's John Mark Nutt. Let's do show. The sprint hurdlers led the charge for Team Bahamas as track and field action continued today at the Paris Olympics. Devin Charlton and Charisma Taylor are through to the semifinals of the 100-meter hurdles, while Denisha Cartwright will have a second opportunity to qualify in the repechage round. Charlton finished second in Heat 5 in 12.71 seconds to earn automatic qualification. In the fastest heat of the prelims, Taylor finished fourth in 12.71 seconds to advance. Cartwright finished fourth in Heat 2 in 12.89 seconds. In a field that includes both the world record holder Toby Amusan and Olympic record holder Jasmine Camacho Quinn, Charlton heads into the final with the 9th fastest qualifying time, while Taylor is 13th overall. Cartwright finished just outside the 18th semifinalists, and at number 19, the NCAA D2 champion heads into the repechage round with the fastest time. She will race in Heat 3 tomorrow at 4:51 a.m. Over in the field, Remo Tabor had a top throw of 57.67 meters to finish 13th in Group A of the javelin. In her Olympic debut, the NCAA champion scratched on her first attempt and threw 54.76 meters on her second attempt. Donald Thomas's 5th Olympic bid concluded without a mark in the high jump. He entered the competition at 2.15 meters but failed on all 3 attempts.
Antoine Andrews and Wanye McCoy were the first pair of Bahamians to qualify for the semifinals on the track in Paris. Andrews finished 8th in the first of 3 semifinals in 13.43 seconds, matching his exact time from the prelims. His time was 18th overall among the 24 semifinalists. In the first semifinal of the 200 meters, running out of lane 9, McCoy finished 5th in his heat with a time of 20.61 seconds. McCoy also finished 18th overall in the event among the 24 semifinalists.
Following a standout collegiate career, Dante Stewart made the transition to pro baseball and is already making an impact in the lineup. Stewart joined the Oakland Ballers, one of 2 new expansion franchises in the Pioneer League. The former Memphis Tiger hit his first home run as a pro in the Ballers' 3-0 win over the NoCo Owls.
After 2 days of competition, the Bahamas now has a 1-1 record in the Billie Jean King Cup. The team lost to Trinidad and Tobago yesterday 2-1 in Group Play of America's Zone 3. Sydney Clark got things started for Team Bahamas with a 6-2, 6-1 win over Jordan Dookie. Trinidad and Tobago even things up when Yolante Leacock defeated Simone Pratt 6-3, 6-2. They went on to win the tie when Dookie and Leacock defeated Clark and Daniel Thompson in 3 sets, 2-6, 6-2, and 10-6 in the tiebreak. After a day off, the Bahamas returns to the court to face Barbados tomorrow and Jamaica on Friday.
After a brief stint with the Kansas City Monarchs in the American Professional Baseball League, Chavez Young is on the move with another franchise. Young was traded from the Monarchs to the Lake Country Dockhounds in Wisconsin. He played 17 games for the Monarchs, hitting .247 with 9 stolen bases since joining them after starting the 2024 season with the Nashville Sounds, the AAA affiliate of the Milwaukee Brewers. That'll do it for our sports. This is 10YS. We got nothing today, do we?
Go Team Bahamas?
Well, that always works. Back to the studio.
Still ahead on Our News tonight, Danielle Miller takes us along for the fun-filled culinary adventure of the Daddy and Me cooking experience. And Greg is back in the Weather Center for their extended forecast when Our News returns.
The Paradise Hotel. When can I sell? Is this what the hotel is really worth?
The kids find themselves on more exciting island adventures.
So stay tuned for some really hot new episodes.
This is 242 the Gospel.
This video needs to show us on a different scale. It has to be
Extra. What, eh?
Hey, Quay.
Hey, what you saying?
Where you with?
I heard you on the bus stop with my friend.
Okay, so we want to shoot this video, and it's gonna be extra.
All right, Jim. I can just come to you. All right. I need your 25 cents no more.
Are you ready for the stormy season? Don't wait until the storm clouds gather. Contact the experts at Alive Business today and let us help you prepare for this hurricane season. For a limited time only, you can get 50% off our Bahamas Cloud, the ultimate solution to secure your data and communications, ensuring they're accessible even in the worst of weather conditions. Don't let the storm catch you off guard this season. Stay ahead of the game with Bahamas Cloud from Alive Business.
This is Our News. Welcome back. We are still tracking Debbie, which is really producing quite a bit of rainfall across the southeastern United States. Current position of the system places it at 32.5 north, 79.1 west. Winds have increased to 58 miles per hour, so it's gaining a little bit of strength. It's over the Gulf Stream, warmer waters, and it will continue to meander across that area for at least another 12 hours before it moves back inland across South Carolina and eventually moving towards the north. But because the system is hanging out very close to our area, we're still starting to see and feeling the effects of it with some rain bands moving through. We had some significant rainfall here in the capital. Another one is approaching Grand Bahama, and that will continue to be the trend throughout the remainder of the week as the system still hangs around. But as I mentioned, by the end of the week, we expect the system pulled towards the north. The tropics are getting a little active out there. We are reaching into the mid of the Atlantic hurricane season. A couple of tropical waves out in the open Atlantic, nothing really significant. There's an area in the far western Gulf of Mexico, the Caribbean Sea, that's going to move into the Gulf of Mexico, National Hurricane Center, giving that a low chance for some formation. But we will be watching an area by next week. A couple of the computer models are latching onto this. So there's a possibility we could see a tropical wave moving, approaching the Leeward Islands and Windward Islands, and it should be in our neck of the woods. So we're asking you to continue to monitor the progress of the tropics as things are starting to heat up out there in the open Atlantic. Taking a look at our future forecast, rain bands associated with that system, as I mentioned, will continue to swing across the area throughout the remainder of the week. But by the end of the week, we expect conditions to be improving. But by Friday, more showers and thunderstorms will remain in the forecast. Boating conditions, we're keeping the caution flag along the Atlantic exposures. Your winds will be south to southwest 10 to 15 knots in the northwest and central Bahamas. Seas 2 to 3 feet nearshore, but they will be building up to 5 feet offshore and mainly along Atlantic exposures. High tide is at 10:44 tonight, the low tide at 5:06 in the morning. Southeast Bahamas, caution flag down there as well. Winds a little stronger, southeast to south, 15 to 20 knots. Seas 2 to 4 feet nearshore, but up to 6 feet along Atlantic exposures. Here's a look now at your national forecast. In the extended forecast, we have that moisture plume from Debbie still hanging across the area. So Thursday and Friday, we keep the showers in the forecast. Saturday, some clearing. And we could see a little bit of an increase in some moisture on Sunday, but conditions will improve by the early part of next week. And of course, we will continue to monitor the tropics as things are starting to heat up. That's a look at our weather. Back to you, Marlena.
Thanks, Greg. Well, now we've got a heartwarming and fun-filled culinary adventure to tell you about. The Daddy and Me Cooking Experience. It's an interactive event where fathers and their little ones come together to create delicious home-cooked meals. Organized by Men Speak, our Danielle Miller tells us how the event offers a unique opportunity for dads to bond with their kids in the kitchen.
We're spending our Sunday afternoon with the organization Men Speak in the kitchen at Bahama. Dedicated to a day away with Dad, dozens of fathers brought their kids out for an exquisite taco cooking lesson filled with unforgettable moments like the random kitchen karaoke. Founder Simone Bowe explains that Men Speak was founded on principles of fostering family bonds and how events like the Daddy and Me Cooking Experience strengthen connections between fathers and their children.
Well, normally you see a lot of Mommy and Me events that promote that bonding experience with moms and their children. And it's not often that you would see the same type of experience for dads. And it just feeds the stereotype that men don't want to spend time with their children and men aren't family oriented. And we know that that's not always the case.
Ray Morrison co-hosted the event.
Being here today and just watching the fathers interact with their families, the young ones, it's just priceless when you see the smiles on their face. They're beaming with pride. There's an atmosphere of love.
So this your dad?
No, Mom.
Okay, where's your dad?
He passed away.
It was a somber moment for everyone at the table. But Aviation shared how much she cherished the time spent with her granddad, uncle, and cousin, a testament to the need for more meaningful bonding experiences.
It took us away from everybody else and they had some time with us alone, doing the cooking. So I know when they get home now, they can say, let's cook tacos.
Reporting for Our News, I'm Danielle Miller.
Thanks for that, Danielle. Such a heartwarming story. And thank you for joining us for Our News tonight. On behalf of the entire team, I'm Marlena Leonard. We'll see you tomorrow night. Have a great evening.